This is a vinyasa variation. If you've been finding the traditional sun A, sun B too much for you to be doing every day, like let's say your hamstrings are killing you, your quads are on fire, and you're just not digging it through your wrists and your shoulders, here you go. We're going to go ahead and come to mountain. Big toes come to touch, space between the heels. Find your feet, press all the way down, all the way through the mat. Pull your pelvis to where it's not canted one direction or the other, as neutral as you can get it. Roll your shoulders back over your hips. Ears try to come over your shoulders, even if you tuck your chin slightly, and try to find this really good starting point of an anatomical position, which would technically be with your palms facing forward. Here you go, anatomical position, aka mountain pose in yoga. Take a couple breaths here. Coming all the way down to the bottom of your stomach, letting your stomach expand. So you're using the full breath. Stomach expands first, then the chest. Exhaling, chest first, then the stomach. Back moves, ribs move. Everything compresses on the exhale. In through your nose, and then either out through your nose for the Ujjayi breath, if that's your thing. Most people like to say, try to sound like Darth Vader. I like to say, try to breathe as quietly as you can. Really make this mat your space. And don't try to intrude on the person's space next to you. Honor their space. Create your own little yoga bubble. Or exhaling through the mouth. That's great for dispersing heat. So now we've taken a couple breaths. On an exhale, step back with the right foot. We're going to come straight into a low lunge. Your low lunge can be stacked, knee over ankle. For the front hip pulling back while the back hip pushes slightly forward. Forward and up for the back hip, back and down for the front hip. Back hip can be over the knee. Toes can be flipped under or flat on the mat. Shoulders over hips. Hand to the front leg. Or they can stay on your hips. Come to your chest, palms together. Or they can come overhead if that works for you. If it doesn't work for your shoulders, don't worry about it. If you want to sink a little deeper, play with your range of motion. On the exhale, sink into the front knee. It's okay if the knee goes in front of the ankle. All of our force is going backwards because you're pulling that front hip backwards. Your torso is not collapsing over the front leg. There's some active working going on in this back thigh to keep you from dumping into the front of the hip joint. Same thing, hands can be on your thigh. They can be overhead. Whatever works for you. You want to hold them out here to work to overhead? That's cool. If you want to do that, then start lifting your chest so your lats engage, so then you can send them upwards. Exhale, come down. Step, sorry, I got confused by my notes. Step your left foot back, push to child's pose. Arms overhead, wherever it's comfortable for your shoulders. You can have them closer to your head, or you can have them stretch further away. If you'd like, press down through your palms, push yourself up to downward facing dog. Go ahead and have your heels off the mat, shoulders engaged, chest slightly lifted, so you're not dumping into your shoulder joints, pressing down through the fingertips so you lift out of your wrists. You can walk your dog out. Shift side to side, whatever feels good. And then on your inhale, right foot steps forward. Or if you're in child's pose, push up to tabletop, come into low lunge on this side. Stacking your knees over your ankles, your hip over your knee, leveling your hips. It causes your core to work in some interesting ways. And you start to find your imbalances and how different each side feels from each other. Exhaling, sinking into the range of motion if you'd like to. Keep pulling the hips level. Arms come to wherever they're comfortable at. You can even do palms together, Inhale them up as high as you can go, and then down. Start working on the shoulder range of motion. Exhale, hands to either side. Step back into plank. If this hurts your wrist, come back down, or come down to forearm plank. Exhale, lower to the mat. Inhale, move your elbows underneath your shoulders, come to Sphinx. Shoulders open, legs together, pressing down into the mat. Finding an easy back bend, a supported easy back bend for the start of your practice. Pressing down through the hands. Exhale, lower, hands come underneath your shoulders, press back to child's pose. And then from here, you can flip your toes. Come into downward facing dog. Exhale, walk your feet back up to your hands, coming to an easy forward fold with your knees bent. Inhale, up to overhead salute, or simply to mountain, or exhale down to mountain. And then you can go ahead and start over, or continue on with sun salutations. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this vinyasa variation, and I will